This gentleman, please, a warm welcome for Akshay Sharma!
Guys, let's hear it for Franco Tadeo! Yeah! But guys, I gotta apologize to all of you right up front because the thing is, I know you were all expecting Aziz Ansari tonight at this time. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, so they sent me in his place. You see, Absolute Comedy has these affirmative action rules that they have to have at least one South Asian brown guy with a black stubbly beard in the lineup. Otherwise, it was. So I just wanted to explain that to you. Speaking of being South Asian, I just recently, and by recently I mean 7 months ago or something, came back from a trip to the subcontinent of India. Excellent. 3 people either have been or know where it is. Appreciate the support. Now I know what the rest of you were thinking though. The rest of you are probably thinking, what in fuck's name is a subcontinent? Not the same thing. Apparently it has to do with the way the country of India is separated from the rest of the continent of Asia due to the Himalayan mountain range, right? Now, I had trouble remembering that, so what helped me remember, just throwing it out there, is the way, it's kind of like the way the mountain in my pants blocks off the oxygen supply and blood circulation from my brain. See, this is my gift of knowledge to you in the form of a dick joke. Okay. But going back to the story, it was kind of weird because you land in India, and the thing is, you land in the airport. I grew up in Canada, and all of a sudden you're surrounded by all these brown people. There are like all these brown people mulling around in front of you. And I thought to myself, I was like, shit, you know, this is like weird, like, most of the times when I see this many brown people in front of me is usually when I'm at the computer tech support desk at like a Future Shop or Best Buy, you know what I mean? And it was, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was kind of cool, but it was a little unnerving at the same time because if you were born in Canada or you grew up in Canada and you're East Indian, seeing random Indian people, well, it's kind of like cross-country skiing over a snowy plain in like the latter half of winter. You know what I mean? You spend most of your time navigating like, over through a sea of white, and every now and then you stumble on that occasional brown patch, right? Just telling you how it is. Take what you want from that metaphor. Of course, in most of India, it's the opposite. And by India, just to clarify, I mean the territory of Brampton. Let's face it, yeah, Brampton's the territory of India. But it's the opposite. You ply your skis over a desert of brown, and every now and then, it's like you see a sliver of white. But then in my case, what happened was, I'd be like, surrounded by brown, but then I'd be like, a sliver of white. Oh, you know what? I was happy, I was excited, because I'd be like, oh, you know what? Nobody's gonna judge me on how I'm speaking Hindi. I can just be myself. I can like talk to this guy. He's maybe North American or whatever, he speaks English. I can just chill, have a beer with him, whatever. Then I'd approach the sliver of white, and every time I approached the sliver of white when I was in India, it just turned out to be an Indian mine. So I was a little bit put off, like disappointed by that. But what can you do? Guys, I was walking from a bar near Dundas, the Dundas and Bathurst area, excuse me, and as I was walking down the sidewalk, I passed by a guy who was walking in the opposite direction, and as we passed by each other, he was smoking a cigarette, and, thank you ma'am, but I'll take your autograph later. But I think as he was smoking a cigarette, he decided not to ash it on the ground. He took a puff of the cigarette and he ashed it right on my shirt. I'm serious, like I'm not making that up. He ashed it on my shirt. So my first instinct was like most of you would probably go like, what the fuck was that? Right? And then I started thinking to myself, well, let me go, like seriously, this is bullshit. And I was thinking I'm gonna, give him a nice big bear hug until he stopped breathing, or until his head accidentally bumped into my fist, whatever society, and by society I mean that little Joe Pesci voice in my brain, thought it would be more socially acceptable. But then I have to tell you that the little girl in my butterfly stomach thought, oh my god, what if my fist gets boomeranged back to my silky, pretty, hairy face, and I die. So I didn't want to die, so. But anyway, shit, I lost my train of thought. He ashed on my shirt, and so basically this is what, but the thing is, the way he ashed in my shirt was like, I wanted to think of him as an asshole, but he did it with such a loving caress. It's a French accent. I thought, how's my French accent? Good? Needs work. All right. But it was almost romantic the way he did it, right? Like, he didn't do like, fucking out. It's almost romantic. So I started thinking, I got all these mixed signals in my head, and I started thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. Now, I have a conundrum here. I mean, should I really go back and fight this guy? Or should I try to fuck him? I mean, I'm not gay. I'm not gay, honestly, but I mean, it was a little bit of a slow day sexually. And like they say, beggars can't be choosers, right? So anyway, I went back there, and he was pulling another cigarette out of his pocket. I said, let me light that for you. Lit it. And as a test, I said, hey, I know it's a cliche, but I said, hey bro, hey, is that a subcontinent in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? And yeah, and then guess what happened? He pulled out a thing that played Bollywood music, and Bollywood was actually mapped out on a map of India, so yeah, I was like, yeah, you freak. It is the Indian subcontinent in my pants. So my face was red, and I just wanted to fucking kill myself. And that's my time, so ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your show.